Well, good day, everybody. I'm here with Chef Justin Flit from Nave in Coconut Grove for our very first course this morning. First of all, Chef, thank you so much for joining us.
No, my pleasure, my pleasure.
Glad to have you back. You were one of our guest chefs, 5 years ago at VeritageMiami?
Yeah, it was.
Doing a pasta then as well.
I did do a pasta.
You
always want me to do pasta.
Well, you make fabulous pasta.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm curious, as we begin our adventure today, and we've got the water already boiling for the pasta. So while you're setting up at home,
yes,
you'll want to get a pot of water boiling. And about how much water do we use?
Well, you want to have enough water that the pasta is covered. So like in this pot here, I have it about halfway full. So, fill your pot about halfway. That way you don't want to have it boil over on your stove. So leave a little room so it can get a nice boil.
The boil over has happened.
Oh yeah, it happens. It's going to happen.
Let's talk about the other ingredients.
Sure.
And then we'll talk about the dish as a whole and how you put it together.
Yes.
So run us through, if you will, what we have to go into our dish.
The first thing is the pasta. So at the restaurant at Nave, we make our own pasta. So this is an extruded pasta. This is just semolina and water. And this shape is a fusilli. I really like it because all the sauce gets kind of stuck in between the noodles. So this is a very versatile pasta. We're doing a vegetarian pasta today, but this will go great with like a bolognese or anything else. It's a very versatile pasta. So first is the pasta. Second, we have some melted leeks. So we're using some local farms. We're using Bee Heaven Farms. Melted leeks is very simple. Leeks are very dirty when we get them.
Very sandy, aren't they?
Very sandy. Yeah. So when you get them, if you buy them in a store, we cut them in half and then kind of julienne them.
Half lengthwise. Take the little root off the bottom, cut them in half lengthwise, and then you can sort of spread those leaves apart.
Correct. Yeah, and that too, like the dark green outer layers you don't use those. So we can save those for if you're making a chicken stock or something like that, you can save those. But they're not gonna cook down very well, and they're gonna remain tough. I like the leek because it's not as strong as like an onion. Right. It has an onion flavor, but it's a little more mild.
Right.
Yeah.
So this comes in your food pack already melted, if you will, but not hard to do at home yourself. It's a little bit of salt, a little bit of butter, your leeks, and low and slow is the secret.
Low and slow, and a little bit of bigger pot so they can spread out and kind of cook evenly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So we have melted leeks.
Yes.
What next?
Then, very common ingredients. We have some lemon. We have butter. The cheese that we're using for this is Pecorino Romano. So different than Parmesan, it's a little sharper, a little saltier on the flavor. But I really love Pecorino in pastas because it gives it a really good kick.
Right. A sheep's milk cheese.
Sheep's milk cheese, yeah. And then the last one will be the lemon herb breadcrumbs. Okay. So these are just panko breadcrumbs that are toasted. And then we put it in the Roboku and blitz it around with some fresh herbs, chives, parsley, a little bit of mint, and then lemon zest. Okay,
and fresh herbs also from Margie at Bee Heaven Farm.
Yep, Margie's the best.
Margie's great.
Yep.
And we're focusing here for you on locavore food, local cooking ingredients.
Correct. Yep.
So the breadcrumbs will come pre-made as well. And so this is sort of the mise en place, the setup we've got. And now walk us through how we're going to make the dish.
Sure. This is it's a pretty easy dish. So I've had my pot heating up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm going to add just a touch of salt into my pasta cooking water. And then, when you drain your pasta, save your water just in case we need to add a little bit more. I use this pasta cooking water in the pot, in the dish. So it's always good, especially if you cook more than a couple of pastas. The water becomes very useful.
It becomes, because you've cooked your pasta in it, the water is very starchy, right? So it can help you thicken and bind a sauce.
That is correct. So
you've added some water now to your pan.
Yep, and then I'm just going to add a little bit of butter.
Okay.
And then this kind of creates a little sauce. So this creates a slight little sauce, and we're going to add our leeks in now and just kind of gently warm them. They're already cooked. So we just want to make sure they're hot.
Okay.
All right. And then, as I said, I can see already that I'm going to need just a little bit more water. So, keep a little ladle next to you while you're doing this.
And so this is water even before you've cooked the pasta.
Right.
That is useful here.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. So this is the start of it. So just water, butter, the leeks. And you're gonna need the leeks are seasoned with a little bit of salt, but not all the way. So we'll put a little bit of salt. And then we're ready to cook. We're ready to cook the pasta next. So this pasta is not like it is a dried pasta in our way. We extrude it fresh, and then we'll dry it for, depending, probably like 30 minutes before we portion it.
Okay.
So it's not like a dried pasta that you're gonna buy in the store, where it's gonna take like 10 to 12 minutes to cook. Right. This is gonna cook in boiling water in about a minute. Wow. So once you're committed to this dish, you got to finish it.
You got to go.
It's going fast.
So that's why you start your sauce first, because the pasta takes almost no time to cook.
Correct.
Okay.
So I'm going to go in with the pasta.
All right.
This is 8 ounces of total pasta right there.
Right. So 2 4-ounce portions. So in your bag at home, you've received in one bag 8 ounces of this pasta, the fusilli, which means corkscrew.
Correct. So once you put the pasta in, we're just going to give it a little stir. Just to move it around, make sure it's all, not sticking together.
Yeah, when I was a kid, we were told, don't stir pasta, it will make it clump together. But in fact, it's actually the opposite, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, especially with like a noodle pasta, like if you're doing a spaghetti or another dish, you definitely have to stir it when it's in the pot.
Okay,
for sure.
Good to know.
It also helps it spread out and it'll cook more evenly.
So how do you know when the pasta is done? You just need to pull a piece
even
out
after
and taste
years of cooking, I still taste pasta all the time. I still will, take the pasta out and try it. But I mean, sometimes, if we're busy in the restaurant and we just have to use our instinct and just, just go for it. And then the other thing is also, I like to cook my pastas about 95% of the way, like 90 to 95% in the water, and then finish the rest in the pot, because we're transferring from hot to another hot surface. So you don't want to cook it all the way here, because then you want to be able to make sure we can create our sauce nice in the pot.
Great.
Yep.
And I suppose the pasta, if it keeps cooking in the sauce, it absorbs it a little bit into the pasta itself.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. Like I said, the leeks are already cooked. They're definitely warm by now. And you can see like the pasta will also start to rise to the top. Before it was just sitting on the bottom,
right.
But now you can see
it's plumped up.
It's plumped up a little bit. It's starting to rise. So, at home, take one noodle, give it a little taste. I'm good with that. So we're gonna take all our pasta out now.
Okay. You want my fancy French fries?
Yeah, you know what?
Here?
Let's go. Let's go with the strainer here. So our pasta's going in. All right. And like we said, we want to kind of create a little bit of a sauce now.
Now you could, at home, I often pour my pasta out through a colander.
Yes.
But you want to be sure you don't dump all the water, as
right,
Justin
yeah, you
said.
can definitely use a colander. But like I said, just make sure you keep that pasta water, because now we're creating our sauce now.
And even in the pan now, with all of the water chef's added, it's almost dry in the pan. So you keep adding the water to make this nice sauce.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to add a little bit more water. And then I'll add a touch more butter. I like to finish all of my pastas, not always with butter, but usually like fat and acid and some fresh herbs at the end, just to give it like a little bit of a little kick.
Right.
But you want to make sure you add your acid or any fresh herbs that you're using last minute, like off the heat, or else you're going to kill the flavor and you also discolor the herbs.
Yeah, so a less beautiful
you can
dish
see
for
now.
Sure. Okay.
I like that. I like to have, you don't want to have too much sauce for this dish on the plate, but I'm going to finish it with just a little bit of lemon.
I know lemon is like your secret ingredient a lot of times. I noticed that many times when we cook together, you're adding lemon at the very end.
I always add lemon. So I'm going to turn this off now. I always add lemon or some sort of vinegar at the very end of a pasta, usually.
Usually.
Yeah.
There are probably exceptions.
Yeah. So we're gonna plate this up now. So
Now,
this
you
is-
didn't use all of the leeks. And I know this is the
Yeah.
larger portion that we brought today
Yeah.
than probably at home, but there, if you want to add extra leeks, you
Oh
can.
yeah, for sure.
Or you can save them because they're really good on toast too.
They're good on everything. You can put them in your eggs,
Yeah.
whatever you want, you know. So this is, like I said, this is a portion for 2. So
Beautiful.
you know,
It's that
any
simple.
plate that you want, and then we'll go with our grated pecorino, which we used a microplane for. And then these breadcrumbs are going to add that kick of herb flavor that I'm looking for at the end, and it's also going to add a nice texture while eating the pasta. And these also have a little bit of lemon zest in them too, so it's going to add crunch, fresh herbness, and a little bit of acid in the lemon zest form. And that's the dish.
Beautiful.
Fusilli with melted leeks, lemon herb breadcrumbs, and pecorino romano.
Fantastic. The leeks, one more question about them. You got them really fresh. I mean, the wonderful thing is when you buy from a local farm,
Yeah.
you know it was just picked. If we were getting leeks at a grocery store, maybe they're 2 weeks old or something.
Right.
They won't cook up as smoothly. Is that the idea?
For sure. Yeah, you can definitely tell the difference from the raw product to like you mentioned, like if it's from imported from another country or wherever they may be, compared to a local product. Always better local.
Good. Support your local farm and also your local restaurant, Nave in Coconut Grove.
Yes, sir.
Where this dish, would this ever show up on your menu?
It could. It could. We change the menu all the time.
Yeah.
So we always like to have, like you said, this is a vegetarian option. We always like to have something for everybody. So it definitely could show up on the menu.
Okay. Now, the big question becomes then leftovers. If for some reason, because
Yeah.
we have a large brunch for you today,
Yeah.
You've got leftovers, how would you preheat this or reheat this rather?
Yeah, just go into some Tupperware at your house, and then you can either reheat it in a pan, or if you want to put it in the microwave, you can do that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe save the breadcrumbs aside, add
Right.
them again at the end.
For sure. Yeah, for
Perfect.
sure. Yeah.
Chef,
Absolutely.
thank you so much.
You got it,
Always
my
a
friend.
pleasure to cook with
always,
you.
Always, always.
I say cook with you, right? I'm standing here just going, yeah, that looks great. Cheers.
Thanks, Lynn.
Thank
Cheers.
you.